Welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be cooking up using Arturia's new V Collection 9. More specifically, we're going to be using the augmented strings and the augmented vocals VSTs. I'm very interested to see if augmented vocals is going to be the next best thing for adding vocals to your samples. But yeah, let's just start cooking up. I'm going to start off the sample using augmented strings. Let's just give a quick rundown of it. So obviously this is the main screen that you'll see when you open it up. It looks really clean. I really like how it looks. You've got all these knobs in the middle so you can change how much of an effect is on there, the delay, the reverb. You can morph the sound using this, which basically will blend it between two layers. Then if we go to advanced, obviously you can customize it super heavily. There's a sampler, so obviously that's using real string sounds, and there's a bunch of synth string sounds as well. So when you combine those together, you can create really big strings. There's also a bunch of textures, so you can make super unique sounds, and the way you can use the LFOs on everything. Obviously you've got modulation, an arpeggiator, you can add effects, and then there's macros where you can really customize things. If you know what you're doing, if you figure it out and play around with it, you can get some really unique sounds. But to start with, I'm going to use a preset. So I'm going to go to the menu, let's go to strings, and let's just go for soft vibrato. And I want to add one final chord at the end. I want to use a diminished chord, so we're using harmonic minor scale, so that would be B, E, F, and G, but then we're going to put these three up an octave. So I think what I want to do is pitch this up an octave, and then I want to add a pad type sound underneath it. So I've got another augmented strings open. I'm going to go to the pad presets, and City of Demons is a good one. So I'm just going to copy that across, paste it in. Let's try and make this pad sound a little bit more interesting. It's kind of boring. So what I'm going to do is modulate the cutoff with an LFO. So let's use LFO 1. It's not being used at the moment. We're going to just modulate filter A. So if I just bring that up, basically it's going to come up and it's going to come back down. What I do need to do is go to modulation and actually activate LFO 1. So what I've done is synced it up to the tempo here, obviously, and set it to a 1-1 setting. So it's not coming in all the time, it's kind of making it pulse, but it's basically bringing the high end in slowly and then filtering back out at the beginning. Now what I am going to do is bring that down just a little bit. I think it's a little bit harsh, maybe like that. So far we haven't processed anything, we've just used the effects and the presets in the augmented strings. But I do want to make the first sound a little bit more vintage sounding. So I've just added the gentle modulation preset in Sketch Cassette 2. So now it sounds like this. So next I've loaded up the Impetuous preset, which is a super plucky violin kind of sound. I'm going to use this to change the bounce of the chord progression. Right now it's kind of basic, it's a bit static. I want to change that up. What I've actually done is change it to third steps and then use that to quantize it. That fits perfectly as to how I've imagined it in my head. So altogether it sounds like this. To process it, I'm just putting an EQ on the low end. Let's add a cleverb to it. I'm thinking we'll go to instruments and small sweet strings, why not? Next I'm adding a Valhalla delay. What I'm going to do is change it to triplet so it fits in with the bounce that we've got going. And finally, let's detune it using some reels. Just go to the tape presets. Let's go for excited tape. Now we're getting onto the exciting part, which is augmented voices. I'm very excited to see what this can do. Again, it works the same as augmented strings, the same interface. You can change between real vocal sounds and then synth vocal sounds. First of all, I want to find a choir. I want to make a really big choir on this. So let's go to the presets and change it by type. So it's got all the real choirs here. That's what I'm looking for, something super realistic. I think what we're going to do is a top line melody. So let's just run through the presets and see if anything sounds good. So let's go back in and change the sound, something a little bit softer. And then let's just cut it right here at the end. What I'm going to do with these vocals is make them pulse a little bit. I'm going to use the filter preset in Shaperbox, set it to half, set it to this preset. So next I want to find a textural kind of sound. A lot of these sounds are layered. They have a main sound and then they have a more textural element. Something like that we can just use as like an accent. And I'm going to add an eternity delay to it just to make it sound really interesting. Maybe the broken tape player preset. Yeah, something like that, so it sounds really detuned and distorted. I think next, what will fit perfectly is a nice synth bass. In the V Collection 9, Arturia released the Korg MS-20. Obviously, it's a Korg synth, and there's going to be some great basses in here, I'm sure. Let's also change the preset. Let's just throw a distortion on there as well. I think to progress the sample, because obviously we're going to take parts out of the sample, add some in. To progress it, let's add a nice little texture. Now you can hear in that preset, obviously it's got some strings, but it's got this really nice texture in the background. So what I'm going to do is figure out where that is coming from. I think it's probably from here. So let's take off the strings. Yeah, so if we just take this, just purely this. For one more element, I'm going back into augmented voices and I want to add a counter melody. Let's go to the lead section, change the sound, I think. That sounds really cool hitting on the one like that. Let's just add a simple delay, but make it really long. Let's go basic ping pong and just make it the feedback really high. Let's quickly structure the sample. Obviously, we've got the main section, which we'll bring in after 9 bars. For the intro, let's just go for... Let's taking out the bass straight away. Let's take out these strings. Let's take out the first vocal. And let's take out this vocal too. Going to make that pattern 2 unique and take out the bass. Big shout out to Arturia for sending me this so I can use it in a video. And an even bigger thank you to you guys for making things like this possible. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. I want to hit 10k as soon as we can. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.